everyone, welcome back to Good or Good Enough. I finally saw Lilo and Stitch, and here's my little review. So, first off, what happened? So, the plot is a lonely Hawaiian girl named Lilo who befriends a runaway alien named Stitch, helping to mend her fragmented family. Nani is the older sister who is struggling with how to move forward after tragic loss. The main plot is the social workers checking in on Lilo. They gave her an ultimatum eventually. Stitch has run away from the Federation and has come to Earth. The alien queen sends her two aliens, Jumba and Pleakley, to retrieve Subject 626. Lilo and Stitch form a special bond. Lilo and Stitch eventually, along the way, form a special bond, and Stitch learns about family. A quick summary is this film is fun, a fun adventure. It's definitely a kid's film. I did laugh at times. Some serious themes, though they lost their parents. The social workers are checking up on them. It's kind of interesting how serious it got and the themes that it covered. Very serious at times. Harsh moments, like Lilo is kind of bullied. It's mildly funny. The jokes are okay. It's very colorful, nicely filmed. The climax is lame, in my opinion. And it also does seem to follow the animated film. Like, it seems like there's nothing new in this movie. And it does kind of drag at a few moments. I think it is an hour and 48 minutes. So I think it's kind of long. I don't like the twist. It makes no sense after what you see that leads up to that point. The second twist is a generic one. I don't think I like the casting for Lilo or Nani. I don't know. At one shot, Nani looks good, like a good transfer from animation to live action. And I think she just looks too normal. Her name is Maya Kiloa. She seems like more of a normal girl. Her acting is okay, I guess. I don't know. But I feel like they could have done a better casting with someone who stands out more and doesn't really distract from the role. So that is my review without spoilers. So now we'll get into spoilers for Lilo and Stitch. So after a little issue, Stitch runs away back to where the cage he was at, whatever, when Lilo first found him. And then Jumba shows up and tries to capture him. He has a portal gun, which leads to some cool moments using the portal gun, which is, I don't know, kind of cool. Yeah, so eventually Jumba comes to the house and then tries to capture Stitch and almost has him and then doesn't. And then he finally kind of gets closer to them, and then I think she goes back for some reason. Yeah, she just has to go back because Jumba's destroying all her stuff. It's really weird. It's kind of dark that they would do all that, but interesting. So yeah, he does that to show some stuff. So then he tries to break them up and tells Lilo that Stitch came there and used Lilo for protection, basically. So and all that. So right here, yeah, Jumba tries to break them up by telling Lilo what happened. And I didn't really agree with that because it seemed like she would know that he did like her. So, that they were actually had a relationship. So it doesn't really make any sense. So he tries to get them to turn on each other. He gives him an ultimatum and basically tricks him, and then takes him onto the ship, and then they leave. And so, yeah, the real twist is that he gets tricked and wants to turn him into Subject 627, and then somehow Lilo is on the ship and saves Stitch. She's right there. So she shows up onto the ship and helps Stitch escape the ship. Then he gets Jumba stuck in the thing. Jumba flies away. I think he gets picked up later. Lilo and Stitch have to find a way off the ship. And then they're about to jump off when Lilo's photo or whatever flies back and Stitch goes to get it. And then it cuts to a little bit after. You see, yeah, he goes to get the photo. Then it cuts. We don't know what happens. And then later we find out that Stitch gets heavier in water. So he's not able to be lifted by Lilo. So nobody really knows that. And then it looks like they have to leave Stitch there alone by himself, whatever. They can't save him. So she leaves, and then somehow Nani decides to go and get Stitch, and she realizes he's not heavy enough, or that he's too heavy to be picked up. So Nani decides to carry Stitch all the way back to the shore. Very interesting. Cool, I guess. Cool idea. And then it looks like he died, which is a generic twist. And then they use a car battery or something to bring him back, and Stitch survives all that. But this is a generic twist. It's nothing new. And yeah, he survives. They're visited by the Queen from the Federation, who says that Stitch has to go back. And then Stitch does a little speech about what he learned about family and what's important and everything. And the Queen decides to make Earth his prison or whatever, which is kind of a joke, and then lets him stay with Lilo and all of them. And some other things are that, Agent Bubbles reveals that he's working for the CIA. Tutu decides to have Lilo live with her. And that's pretty much all for the spoilers. There's nothing new in this film. It follows the same old story. Now we can get into some of my favorite moments for the film. The intro is pretty cool. I like this intro. It's very funny. He steals the ship and comes to Earth and all that. And he's just like sitting in it, and pretty funny. All this. A lot of grossed out humor though, which is kind of funny. Funny jokes. The climax scene is really boring, but the portal gun scene and the other fun stuff kind of make it a little more entertaining, but it still ends in the same way. The scenes of Stitch and Lilo actually like hanging out and having fun are really cool, because they really do have fun and like each other, which is why I don't understand the twist at all. It doesn't make any sense. Like yeah, he's there, but he could have told her. If he can borderline talk like a person, he could have told her why he's actually there and what's going on. And I'm sure she would have been accepting of it and been like, oh, all right. So I don't understand that part. Another funny scene is when Pleakley and Jumba have to find disguises or some humans to copy. They find themselves, the two voice actors and the live action actors as well, which I thought is a very clever way to do that. But it's pretty funny because when you see him, it's Zach Galifianakis and Billy Magnuson both standing there as a golfer and a caddy. And then they have this guy, the ice cream guy. So they do the joke, which is awesome too. That's a funny part. And that's pretty much it with my favorite moments. There's not too much. If you saw the original animated one, it's the same thing, nothing new. And in contrast to all my favorite moments, I gotta talk about some things that I would fix. And the main thing is the twist and the climax sucks. I know it's a remake, but it's too much of a remake. They should have come up with something new. Maybe the whole time this Stitch is 627, or like, yeah, I don't. They should have come up with a new twist or something, or it could have been a sequel to the original, and Stitch has been replaced with an evil Stitch, kind of an evil Superman situation. That would have been good, and it would have been new, and nobody would have known that until the twist comes around. I'm like, wait, what? This isn't the regular Stitch? I thought that would have been a little better, so I would have fixed that. I also don't think I like seeing this in live action. It doesn't seem to transfer correctly. I've noticed that lately with some animation to live action remakes and all that, and it seems like some films don't work. It just doesn't look right. Like, Stitch is supposed to be a dog, right? Even though in live action it's in the real world, therefore we would be like, that's not a dog, obviously. But in animation, whatever, you kind of wave it away because it's animated and it's not real. So I think there's this border between that where live action doesn't seem to really like capture like the silliness of what you could do in animation. I don't think it works for me. Like it doesn't seem, after seeing the old one, you know, I mean, it is, yeah, frame by frame remake from the original, and it's not too memorable, really. It's cool seeing it live action. Stitch is funny, and yeah, I don't know. So they could have made the girl animated or made Stitch live action, like an actual animal, like a puppet maybe. I don't know. That would have been fun if they did Lilo and Stitch. They're both animated in live action. Like, you know, like Lilo is also CG, just like it's like the regular character. And that's all I'd fix. And now we can move on to whether or not I would see it or stream it. I would say stream it because it's just too simple. And this could definitely be a Netflix film or maybe a series, like just 8 episodes or 6. I would say maybe see it if you really want to see something that's kind of neutral but fun and you have kids, but don't expect anything new and all that. It's just same old Lilo and Stitch. And then my final thoughts for Lilo and Stitch are that it cost $100 million. I don't know. It doesn't look like $100 million at all. I don't get it. It doesn't. I mean, I guess Zach Galifianakis is not cheap, but $100 million. I feel like we should have gotten a little bit more for that money, and we didn't. Again, the summary for this film is it's a fun adventure. Definitely a kids movie, though I laughed. Some serious themes throughout. They lost their parents. The social workers keep checking up. It's a very serious at times, with harsh moments. You know, Lilo gets bullied or whatever. Stitch has gross out humor. It's kind of funny. It's mildly funny, I would say. But then it's very colorful, nicely filmed. The climax is lame, again. It seems to follow the old animated film. It does kind of drag out a few moments. It's an hour and 48 minutes long. I don't like the twist. Makes no sense. If Stitch could talk, he could just tell her. I don't like the casting for Lilo or Nani. Maya Kaloa seems too normal than what the character should be. And yeah. And after all that, I think that Lilo and Stitch is good enough. And that wraps up my review for Lilo and Stitch. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below what you thought of this film and if you like the transfer from animation to live action or not, and as well as other scenes that you liked in this movie. And I'll see you in the next review.